Plus.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning and welcome to the annual membership meeting of the Danville, Pennsylvania County Chamber of Commerce. I'm Beth Dowdy. I'm the interim president and CEO, and it's my pleasure to be able to kick off this morning's meeting. Just to as a reminder, we're recording our meeting so our members can experience this on their own schedule as well. And we'll be posting it to our website, dpchamber.org, and we also are broadcasting on Facebook Live. Today, we're going to review the accomplishments of 2021, meet your chamber board of directors and look ahead to 2022. We're also going to hear from Jason L. Koubi, who's the interim president and CEO of the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, and he'll share his perspective on the Danville, Pennsylvania region, what's ahead for our region and Virginia. First, I want to thank our signature sponsor of today's meeting, Gateway Health. Heather Satterfield of Gateway Health will say a few words and introduce our immediate past president, John Settle. Heather?
Good morning. Thank you, Beth. As Beth said, my name is Heather Satterfield and I am with Gateway Health. Kedra Walker is also on, and she and I are with the sales and marketing team with Gateway Health, and we're excited to be on this morning and excited to be able to sponsor this annual meeting. Just in case you aren't familiar with Gateway Health, we are here in Danville and we manage self-funded employer benefit plans for larger employers that are in our region, but also beyond our region. We also have a health improvement program called Healthy Solutions that can be included with that benefit management piece, but also can be standalone. We appreciate greatly the opportunity to say those few words this morning and again, be able to sponsor this annual meeting. And we thank everybody for joining. So now I'm going to turn the meeting over to the 2021 Chamber Chair, John Settle of American National Bank for a review of this past year.
Thanks so much, Heather, and thanks, a special thanks to Gateway for sponsoring this important event. I'd like to start this morning by welcoming all of our members to our annual meeting. We're going to get started this morning with our presentation. Our speaker this morning is Jason L. Koubi, who, as you've heard, is the interim president and CEO of the Virginia Economic Development Partnership. This partnership is an integral part of the region's economic development success, working with the city and county on important economic development announcements. Jason has served as the executive vice president of the VEDP and was a chamber president in Louisiana. So he understands our role in our growing community. So Jason, it's an honor to have you here with us to share your perspective on our region's outlook and what's ahead for Virginia. I'll turn it over to you.
John, thank you so much, and good morning to all of you. It's such a pleasure to be with you this morning. My only regret is that I'm not in the community today. I know you guys are all we're all virtual, but I tell you, Danville, Pennsylvania is one of my favorite places in Virginia to be. I was just down there in December, and I'll tell you, I'm just blown away with what you guys have accomplished together as a community. Um, there's so much I can say here, and I want to talk about it in the course of this presentation, but I just want to start by thanking you all for the leadership that you bring through the business community, through your work in the civic community, the work that you do through the chamber and other forums is just so important to the success that we're seeing in Danville, Pennsylvania County. Want to talk about some of that, and also want to talk about what I see as some of the things ahead that are really just great for you guys because of the work that you have done to prepare yourself for success. So let's go ahead and dive in. I think Beth or somebody might be controlling the slides here. So Beth, what do we need? Okay, there we go. Before we kind of dive into Danville, Pennsylvania in particular, I wanted to spend a minute talking about where we are as a state. You know, these have been a couple of difficult years and very unusual years, obviously, with the pandemic, not only in terms of its public health effects, but also and the tragedy of COVID-19, but also the economic disruptions caused by the impacts of the pandemic. So let's talk a little bit about that and take stock of where we are and where we're going. So as we go to the next slide, you'll see that Virginia has basically outperformed the rest of the country since the beginning of the pandemic back in March of 2020 or so. What you're looking at here is basically the unemployment rate for Virginia compared to the US. You'll see that we've consistently been like a point or so lower than the rest of the country, particularly over the last year or so. And as we look at the next slide, you'll see that what Virginia looked like at the height of the pandemic. So what you're looking at is basically the change in jobs. This is not unemployment rate. This is actually the loss of jobs in each region of Virginia at the peak of the pandemic. So this is like back in April and May of 2020. And you'll see down in Southern Virginia, you guys were down almost 10% at the peak of the pandemic. Now, as we flip to the next slide, you'll see that Virginia has recovered somewhat unevenly. There's good news in your neck of the woods. Southern Virginia is actually up. You're one of the few regions of Virginia that has fully recovered its pre-pandemic baseline. According to the latest data, you guys are up almost 2,000 jobs, so about 2% growth relative to where you were pre-pandemic. This is terrific news because if you looked at Southern Virginia a few years ago, you would have seen that the projections showed that that the region was sort of on the balance. It was not clear that Southern Virginia would be a growth region for Virginia. I think the work that you guys have done to position yourself for diversified economic growth, particularly in manufacturing, has really contributed to you guys accelerating quickly through the recovery here. So you can see that there are several regions that are still down quite a lot, particularly those dark blue regions in Greater Richmond and on south. Let's go to the next slide. So what is projected for the months ahead? So the latest economic forecasts show that Virginia overall, and I should clarify that Virginia is still down a couple 100,000 jobs statewide. Virginia is expected to recover over the course of the next year. So by the first quarter of 2023, Virginia overall is expected to get back to its pre-COVID baseline. Obviously, one of the big things that we're doing right now at the state level, working with the new Youngkin administration, is trying to figure out how do we accelerate this recovery. We'll talk about that in a second. Another thing I want to point out on the next slide is that as you look at this across the state, you'll see that the urban crescent is expected to recover a little bit sooner than the state overall. Hoping we can go to slide 6. There we go. And you'll see that the urban crescent is expected to recover by the end of this calendar year, with the rural horseshoe lagging a little bit. The rural horseshoe overall expected to recover in the third quarter of 2023. Obviously, Southern Virginia really leading the way in that respect, and which is awesome. So let's flip a couple slides here. and talk about the big picture for economic development in Virginia, and then we'll talk about how Danville, Pennsylvania County fits into that. So when we 5 years ago set out to develop a strategic plan, a blueprint for Virginia's economic development for the Commonwealth overall, there were 5 big goals that emerged from this process. And we did a ton of research. We worked closely with partners across the state, including folks through the Southern Virginia Regional Alliance and Danville, Pennsylvania County, and others around the state. A lot of iteration, a lot of number crunching, but we landed on 5 big goals through this process. 5 big goals for economic development for the state of Virginia. The first one is to position Virginia as one of America's leading growth states, to make sure that on a percentage basis that we are growing among the top 5 to 10 states in America, not just in terms of jobs, but in terms of median earned income. We want to make sure that Virginia is not only growing from a jobs perspective, but that median earned income is growing at a national leading rate, which means we're not just going to grow in terms of the number of jobs faster than the rest of America, but in the quality of those jobs. We want to see the quality of those jobs increasing. But as we talked about this with communities across Virginia, one of the other things that really resonated was this second goal. If folks were familiar with, the years 10 years ago when Virginia was ranked as America's best state for business, and they were saying like, look, yeah, Virginia overall was doing well, but we were hurting in my community. And we heard this especially in rural Virginia. And so the second big goal that we articulated as part of this plan is we want to make sure that every region participates in this growth. We want to make sure that every region wins. That doesn't mean that every region is going to grow in the same way. It doesn't mean that every region is going to grow at the same rate. But if we can keep every region in positive growth territory, what that means is that anybody living in that region, anybody who's doing business within that region will have the access to the benefits of that growth within reasonable commuting distance. And so when I showed you that map a second ago that showed Southern Virginia is in positive territory relative to the pre-COVID baseline, that is a big deal, because that's exactly what we're trying to achieve with this second big goal in collaboration with partners in your community. Thirdly, we want to make Virginia America's best state for business. We've seen our rankings improve in several respects. Everybody knows about the #1 ranking in CNBC, but I will tell you there are several other rankings where we are not #1. We're not even in the top 10, and we've got a lot of work to do there. Fourthly, we want to position VDP as America's top state EDO, mostly so that we can put ourselves in a position to achieve those first 3 goals. And then finally, we want to do all of this in a super collaborative way. I mean, you'll hear over and over again that economic development is a team sport. And I'll tell you, one of the things that is just so great about your community is the way that you guys show up in the economic development competition. There is no community that presents better in Virginia or anywhere that I've seen in America than Danville, Pennsylvania County, along with Linda Green and her team. I mean, when we know that when we bring a project to Danville, Pennsylvania County, Corey, Matt, Linda, the team, they're going to show up. They're going to show up so professionally. They're going to present so well. They're going to make the community shine. We hear over and over again about how Danville, Pennsylvania County punches above its weight, how it's professional, how it provides prospects exactly what we need, and it's showing up in the results. And I just want to just share that with y'all, and thank you for the super collaboration that we have had. And this is part of it today. I mean, the fact that we get a few minutes to share together today, big part of why this is just so important to us, and that I'm so grateful to be talking with you guys. Let's flip to the next slide. So, as we think about where growth is going to come from, VDP is dialed into a set of 14 target industry sectors, which you see here. And the way that we've thought about this is, we want to target the places where growth is going to come from in America. We need to tap into those big growth engines. But when we look across the landscape of Virginia, there's a pretty significant variation in the industry mix from region to region. In a place like Southern Virginia, you're very manufacturing heavy. Places like Northern Virginia, more corporate headquarters and IT. more of a mix when you get to different parts of Virginia, including Hampton Roads and Richmond. So we want to have a portfolio approach that that not only will enable the state to be among one of America's growth leaders, but we want to do it in a way where we have a portfolio that enables every region to win, including Southern Virginia, including Danville, Pittsylvania County. And a lot of the wins that we've had over the past couple of years are going to show up in the industries that you see here. Next slide. So we talked a little bit about rankings a moment ago, and I mentioned the CNBC ranking that we're #1 in. What you're looking at here right now is you're looking at basically the average of each state's business climate ranking. So you can see at the very bottom line here, the sources. We took 6 or 7 of the most important business climate rankings, and we averaged each state's score. And you'll see that Virginia on average is kind of between 5 and 6. We improved pretty steadily for, since 2015, kind of petered out a little bit. I grew up in Louisiana, so I look at, Virginia being in the, top 10. I think, well, that's not too bad. The trouble here is that we are in one of the most competitive neighborhoods in America. Our competitor states, places like North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee's not here, but Tennessee shows up really strong. You can see that why it's so important to really keep the pedal to the metal here and continue to improve. While Virginia has certainly welcomed the accolades from CNBC and other places where we rank in the top 5 or the top 3, there are many rankings where we are outside the top 10. And the primary reason for that is that these are perception-based rankings. These are rankings that are heavily influenced by marketing. We're not doing enough right now to tell Virginia's story. One of the biggest opportunities we have is to put more effort, really, frankly, more money behind Virginia's marketing effort for economic development to better tell our story and to get some of those perception-based rankings, those rankings that are based on surveys, that are based on opinions of people like corporate executives and site selection consultants, get them kind of more educated about the benefits of Virginia, including the benefits of and the strategic advantages of rural Virginia and communities like Danville, Pittsylvania County. Let's go to the next slide. So let's just take a look at some of the major wins that we've had in your area just in the last few years. We'll flip to the next slide to take a look at that. You guys, I just want to spend a minute just talking about why I think that this is happening. I mean, first of all, one of the biggest things that any economic development project looks for is the ability to secure available trained workers. And I will say the work that Danville, Pennsylvania has done around developing a professional pipeline, particularly the manufacturing workforce pipeline that you guys have cultivated, is second to none. This is something that your community has really excelled at, and it blows away the prospects that look at Danville, Pennsylvania County. They are very impressed with it. They're very impressed with what's happening at the community college, very impressed with IALR. I will also say that the work that you have done to just really, enhance the quality of life assets of the community. I mean, when you look at the River District, when you look at the new YMCA, I guess it's not so new anymore, but it's still new to me. I stayed at the B Hotel last time I was in town. I mean, there is just so much. I mean, you go to the Golden Leaf, you go to, I mean, there's just, there's just so much to like and celebrate, and the sense of momentum in the community is just palpable around just the quality of life, the new apartments, and there's just a kind of a vitality, a sense of momentum that I think is very attractive. The other thing I will say is that for all of these manufacturing projects in particular, at the end of the day, even if you have the workforce, even if you have the awesome quality of life, even if everything else works, the manufacturing tradition, if you don't have a site that is ready to locate on, that's going to be an easy way to get eliminated. In fact, one of the most common reasons that Virginia gets eliminated today from a manufacturing project is because we do not have a site that's ready to go in too many cases. But I mean, just look at this list for a second. I mean, I was adding up just the number of manufacturing jobs represented on this list of wins in the last couple of years in your area. It's like it's near, I think it's nearly 2,000 direct jobs. 2,000 direct jobs. Now, manufacturing is a sector that has a very high multiplier, as many of you know, because you've got these supplier relationships, you've got relatively high wages. That's like 1,500 jobs. Multiply that by 2. I mean, that's going to multiply that by 3 actually is going to be a better estimation of the total number of jobs in Southern Virginia. For every 1 manufacturing job, you're going to get approximately 2 additional jobs in the region. So, I mean, you're talking about an impact just from the manufacturing part of this, on the order of 5,000 jobs. That's awesome. And I think there's more to come here. We have a very strong prospect pipeline in Virginia. It's heavily weighted towards manufacturing. And the work you guys have done to put yourselves in a position to win these kinds of projects, and you're seeing it already here. I mean, it's already showing up for you guys, but I really do think this is just the beginning for Danville, Pittsylvania County. Let's go to the next slide. I want to just spend a minute and talk about what I see as one of your top assets, and that is the Southern Virginia mega site at Berry Hill. This is one of the top economic development assets in Virginia. This is something that is years in the making, and I'll tell you, one of the common misperceptions about economic development and about site development in particular is that you can just have kind of a piece of land and expect that there's going to be a major prospect that shows up to land on it, and that is not at all the case. I mean, you've got to go through an extensive due diligence process. It needs to be graded. It needs to have all the utilities in place, and that's the work that Danville, Pennsylvania County has been doing over many years. And I'll tell you that the product of that work is a very impressive asset that I think is a winning asset for you guys. I'd like to flip through a couple of slides to show you why I think this is so important. So one thing you should know is that a couple of years ago, we at VDP worked with partners across the state and several engineering firms to fully evaluate all of Virginia's economic development sites. We evaluated nearly 500 sites that are 25 acres or larger. We learned a lot in the process. We've got perhaps the best intelligence on our sites of any state in the country. We also learned something that was alarming, and that is that 85% of our sites, particularly our large sites, were not project ready. I will say that the Berry Hill site is one of our most project ready sites. It does need some additional work. So, I mean, I think there's more that we can do there, but it is such an important asset, and it really stands out as one of the top mega sites in Virginia. It is a site that we are pitching all the time, and I fully expect that this site will attract a very large project and likely a transformative project for your community in a matter of time. You can see on the right-hand side what other states have been investing. This is a game that you guys at the local level have done really well. It's something that the state is catching up on, and in our next conversation another day, I can tell you all the ways that we're doing that. But I'm very hopeful that the state of Virginia can be a stronger partner to you guys in getting this site over the line. And one of my aspirations is to bring a transformational project to your community on this site. Let's go to the next slide. I just want to show you why it's so important to Danville, Pittsylvania County and to Virginia to have a site like this. What you're looking at on the left-hand side here is a breakdown of the requests that we get at the state level. This is on the left-hand side, 4 years of data. What you're looking, and basically it's the breakdown by the size of site that our projects are requesting. So you can see that 15% of projects that we see at the state level request sites that are 250 acres or larger. So it's a small percentage of the pipeline. But on the right-hand side, look at the impact of that 15%. Look at the 15% of projects represent more than half the number of jobs and the overwhelming share of capital investment. So large projects are a must win. If we want to get the biggest job creating projects, if we want to get the biggest share of the CapEx, we're going to have to win these larger manufacturing projects. To do that, we're going to need a mega site like Berry Hill. So I'm very, very bullish on it. I will tell you that I have been on that site with site consultants who look at properties across America. The feedback that we are getting is very strong. So it's not just a guy like me who's drinking the Kool-Aid as one of your closest partners. It is professional site consultants who look at a lot of projects, who look at a lot of sites, and they're saying very good things, not only about your site, but about the other things that you have done to prepare to win deals. And you're seeing it already. I mean, you're seeing it in the wins. And I'm so proud of what you guys have accomplished. I'm just thrilled to be your partner. I'm thrilled to have a moment to connect with you today. I think we've got maybe just one or two kind of slides to close it out here, but I just want to thank you for the time to be together. I mean, just look at these images from your community. Just so much to celebrate, so much momentum. I think the business community should be very proud, and I just thank you for the opportunity to spend a little bit of time talking about how I view the community, how I view the partnership. I hope we can do it in real life next time. I'm looking forward to getting down there again as soon as the General Assembly finishes its work, and just thank you to all of you as business leaders, to the civic leaders I get to work with, to Matt and Corey, to Linda and others who represent you every day in economic development. We are just thrilled with your community, thrilled with your team, and thrilled to have a chance to talk about it today. Thank you.
Jason, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate your partnership and support for our region. And we do have a lot to be proud of. And, we believe our future is very bright. The future of the chamber is very bright as well. This past year could have been another excuse to cut back and slow down or delay action because of the unique circumstances in which we continue to find ourselves. No thanks to the seemingly endless challenges of COVID-19. But instead, the Danville, Pennsylvania community forged ahead and continued to strengthen the economy and provide opportunity for those who live and work here, as you've just heard in Jason's presentation. Your Danville, Pennsylvania County Chamber of Commerce has been a leader in that journey. The Chamber continues to take its value as a connector very seriously in bringing people together with answers, opportunities, and most importantly, with each other. The ongoing pandemic didn't change that mission, as the Chamber continued to find unique ways to serve the needs of its members, help them to find new connections and opportunities, and work together to contribute to the continued rise of Danville and Pennsylvania County. In 2021, the Chamber hosted 43 events, almost all of them virtual, bringing together more than 1,045 businesses and individuals. And some of our members seek the connections made at events both large and small, such as Business at Breakfast, the Workforce Summit, or the Chamber Classic Golf Tournament. Other members appreciate professional development opportunities, such as We Lead and Leadership Southside. Many of you recognize how important it is that the Chamber represents the interests of businesses with policymakers through its advocacy efforts. And entrepreneurship is also well served with the Rev Up Danville, Pennsylvania pitch competition. You'll find that the Chamber does what our members don't have the time, experience, or contacts to do. Even in these difficult times, your Chamber continues to contribute to the success of businesses, members, and our community. The past year, unfortunately, saw the departure of Alexis Earhart, our president and CEO. Her contributions to the Chamber have been many, particularly her work adapting to the challenge of COVID-19 and in strengthening our advocacy work. A search is currently underway for a new executive, and the board of directors is confident that the organization Alexis worked so hard for will be an incentive that attracts a strong leader who will continue to build the Chamber's relevance and reputation. Thank you for recognizing how the Chamber benefits your business. Not only has it been an honor for me to lead the Board of Directors, but it has been very rewarding to help lead the Chamber and the community into a promising future. I'd like to take a moment and recognize our innovation partners, which was a new program in 2021 to advance the mission of the Chamber. These partners are critical to the Chamber and recognized as leaders in the business community who understand that the Chamber helps position Danville and Pittsylvania County as one of the best examples of resilience, perseverance, and reinvention in not only Virginia, but the entire United States. These innovation partners are Sova Health, the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research, American National Bank and Trust, Averett University, Dewberry, the Association of Energy Engineers, Blue Ridge Fiber Board, Centra Medical Group, Columbia Forest Products, Danville Community College, First Citizens Bank, First Piedmont, First National Bank, Gateway Health, Intertape Polymer Group, and JTI Leaf Services. We also value our media partners and thank them for showcasing our members and helping tell the Chamber's story throughout the region. The Danville Register and Bee, GoDanRiver.com, the Star Tribune, radio stations 1045 The Dan, 103.3 WAKG, Country Legends 105.9, and 102.5 WBTM. And finally, I'd like to recognize and sincerely thank our outgoing board members for their fine service. Leaving the board this year will be Robin Jones with Vintages by the Dan and Scott Waller with Truist Wealth. And in my first act as immediate past chair of the Chamber, it's my honor to turn this meeting over to the 2022 chair, Mike Jones of Intertape Polymer Group. Mike.
Good morning, and thank you, John. Certainly an honor to follow you as chair of the Danville, Pennsylvania County Chamber. You've really just done an outstanding job during difficult times. You know, as if leading during the age of COVID wasn't enough, you've also managed the search for a new president and CEO. So your service is not only valued, but much admired by your fellow board members. I will strive to continue your standard of leadership. The board and membership join me in appreciation for your services, John. So let me start by recognizing our 2022 Board of Directors. Hunter Burns of Infinity Global is our chair-elect. Varun Sadana with the Lunch Place is vice chair. Greg Anderson of First Citizens Bank is the treasurer. Also on the board, Dan Davis with APL Logistics. Mary Hammock with Farm Credit. Janet Holly with Holly and Gibson Realty. Mark Jones, Pittsylvania County Schools. Alan Larson, Sova Health. Kevin Palmer, Infinity Global. Charlie Baden, Columbia Forest Products. RJ Weaver, First National Bank. Tammy Wright Warren, W&W Luxury Limousine Service. And we also want to welcome two new board members, Rachel Del Campo Gatewood with River District Consulting, and also David Cumbo with Goodyear Tire and Rubber. On behalf of the board, we'd like to recognize our chamber staff that has provided such an ambitious roster of programming this past year. Christy Harper, our membership manager. Danielle Montague, our Wealth Equity Fellow. Maddie Eads, Director of Member Engagement, who has recently accepted a new position as the General Manager at the B Hotel. So we wish her well in her new role. And I want to recognize Beth Dowdy, our interim CEO, who has just done an outstanding job of guiding the chamber through our transition period. So I did want to update you on the search for a new chamber president and CEO. The search committee is in the final stages of the search. We do expect to conclude the search shortly. Once the selection has been made and approved by the board of directors, we'll communicate to our members and stakeholders in the community. So be on the lookout for that. So let's talk about the future of your Chamber of Commerce. And our priorities for 2022 are small business development, advocacy, and talent. For small business development, approximately 60% of the chamber members have 25 or fewer employees, which shows that small business is at the heart of our economy. We will continue as a partner in the region's entrepreneur ecosystem and provide a network of resources and support for entrepreneurs, such as organizing the Rev Up program, which gives entrepreneurs in our region a chance to pitch for grant funding to open or expand their business. Your chamber is fortunate to have Danielle Montague as our Wealth Equity Fellow, funded in part by the Danville Regional Foundation. She's working with regional partners and stakeholders on best practices in workforce development, employee recruitment, and engagement to help organizations create equitable workplaces. For advocacy, the Chamber is the voice of business for Danville and Pittsylvania County, and will continue to project a strong, unified message. Government advocacy efforts will focus on key business issues with elected officials at the local, state, and federal levels. Members will be kept informed on issues and provided access to candidates and appointed and elected officials. For talent, you can rely on the Chamber to offer high quality, substantive training programs to help build the capacity of your associates. We will work to align employers and educators for talent development opportunities. And finally, the Chamber will embark on a strategic planning to ensure that our programs for 2023 are relevant and meet the needs of our members. That's a process where we'll need the input of all our members, and I'm sure we'll be able to count on you to help the Chamber continue to respond to the needs of our members and the community. So all that I've spoken about today is on the 2021 Chamber Annual Report, which you'll find on the Chamber's website under About the Chamber. So now I'll ask Beth Dowdy to tell you about some of the upcoming Chamber events.
Thank you, Mike. 2022 is going to be a busy year, just like every year with the Chamber, but hopefully this will be one in which we can come together in person. We're hopeful that we'll increase our programs, bring back some that didn't work well virtually, and most importantly, help improve and strengthen the networks that the Chamber creates for you and your business. Coming up immediately, I have to put in a pitch for the things that are coming up right now that you can register for on the Chamber website. In February, we're joining with the Racial Equity Institute for its groundwater training on February 15th from 9 to noon. This program is going to be lively and interactive and will help the participants learn to identify and address inequality. On February 17th, there's a free workshop, How to Run for Public Office. And even if you're not sure you want to run for public office, but maybe it's been in the back of your mind, this is a great workshop that might help you kind of collect your thoughts and direct your intent. So that'll be held from 5:30 to 7 on February 17th. And then February 18th is our Business at Breakfast, where the Health Collaborative will be the subject. The collaborative is going to present its key findings from the new Dan River Region Health Equity Report. It's half price for members and is going to give you insight into the collaborative's work and the intersection of health and economic development, which is very interesting, very relevant, and very important to the future of our region. Our Business at Breakfast is a regularly scheduled event. that brings you information on topics which are good to know, frankly. And they almost always focus on initiatives that are making the region and its businesses stronger. So these are just February, but looking at the year ahead, plan on attending kind of our annual builder events is what I call them, whether it's skill building from the Workforce Summit or knowledge building from the Economic Summit or network building from the Chamber Classic Golf Tournament. They all provide value to you and your business. And please consider nominating someone for Leadership Southside. This is about a 9-month program that helps participants learn new skills and builds the leadership potential of your staff. Your return on investment is huge in Leadership Southside. So I encourage you to nominate your associates or even your friends for Leadership Southside. Your chamber is all about value. That's the test for every one of our new ideas and programs. We ask ourselves, will this provide value to our members? But we also want to hear from you on what you want from your chamber. So please call us anytime. The future is bright for our region. The future is bright for your chamber. I just want to thank our members for your support and your confidence. And to those who are on our presentation today, thank you so much for caring about the chamber and wanting to be knowledgeable and involved. I'd like to thank our innovation partners. They have really helped boost the chamber's capacity and impact. Sova Health, the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research, American National Bank and Trust, Averett University, Dewberry, the Association of Energy Engineers, Blue Ridge Fiber Board, Centra Medical Group, Columbia Forest Products, Danville Community College, First Citizens Bank, First Piedmont, First National Bank, Gateway Health, Intertape Polymer Group, and JTI Leaf Services. As the interim president and CEO, who's only been here a few months, I have a fresh perspective on the Danville, Pittsylvania County Chamber. And I have to tell you how impressed I have been, not only by the broad range of programming, but the emphasis on innovation that I really think is unique to a chamber this size. So I'd like to congratulate the leadership and the membership for supporting the evolution of a chamber that appears to me to be responsive, relevant, and resilient. Thank you to our signature sponsor, Gateway Health. Thank you to our retiring board members, Robin Jones and Scott Waller. And again, thank all of you for joining our annual meeting of the membership. Please know that your membership is greatly appreciated. But I'll remind you that a chamber membership is like a gym membership. You don't get in shape just by buying the membership. You have to show up to benefit. So I hope that you'll keep showing up and your chamber will keep providing value to you. Remember that you can access our annual report with more information on the chamber on our website, dpchamber.org. And with that, I think we're done for today. Thank you again for attending, and I hope you all have a great day.